was for UCLA's Carson Schwesinger. Logged his first 2 career interceptions in the Bruins win over Iowa. Was named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. He's a semifinalist for the Butkus Award, given to the nation's top linebacker, and the Burlsworth Trophy, given to the nation's best former walk-on. He is the Big Ten leader in tackles per game.
And Carson Schwesinger joins us now for our big interview. Carson, pretty amazing accomplishments this year, particularly for a guy who had 27 tackles in his career coming into this season. What were your expectations for yourself entering this year?
I think entering this year, I just knew whatever opportunity I got, I was going to make sure that when I was on the field, I was given 100%, and I think that's all I came into this year with. And been given some great opportunities and tried to make the most of them.
Well, you certainly have done that, and the team has started to make the most of its opportunities, too, after getting off to a really slow start with a very difficult schedule. You guys have won 3 in a row. To what do you attribute the turnaround in your season?
I think it really can just be attributed to the team and the coaching staff. And like you said, maybe a difficult start there, but there were pieces that we all saw and we believed in, and we knew that if we put all the pieces together, we could start doing what we thought we were going to be able to do. And so really just staying together and still having that belief in ourselves, I think, has gotten us to where we're at.
What was the message from the coaches when you were 1-5?
The message, I mean, you hear it's been the same every week. It's just we got to clean up small things, and even with the wins, there's still things to clean up. So just making sure we come out of those, learn from the games, and come out better than the week before.
I mentioned off the top you're a walk-on. You have really a great story. You're from Southern California, not all that far from UCLA. You started playing football, I understand, at age 5, when the age requirement to get into the league you were playing in with your brother, who's older than you, was 6. Your dad forged some of the facts a little bit. Is there a statute of limitations there? Are you afraid the authorities are going to catch up with you?
I don't think they probably have too many issues with fudging some of that for some flag football. But yeah, that was definitely some fun to be able to play with my brother.
What do you remember about those early days of playing football and what you liked about it?
I just remember, football being fun, and I think that's the thing that, is important to keep even as you play at higher levels is at the end of the day, you're playing it because it's fun.
Take us to high school. Really good player. You're a safety. You're a receiver, one of the better players in the area, and yet there just isn't a ton of recruiting momentum. Fill people in on kind of what it was like junior and senior year when you basically have crickets.
Yeah, I mean, obviously maybe it's not what I wanted to have happen, but obviously at the time too there was some bigger issues going on. I know COVID was happening, right. So kind of the world was a little shut down in terms of recruiting, so it wasn't the same that it is now or it was before. So I was just, trying to search for any opportunity I could get. I just wanted my foot in the door somewhere, and ended up being able to get that.
Yeah. How did the UCLA opportunity come up?
Honestly, it was just through my head coach in high school having some connections, not too much of anything else versus just somebody saying that they'd be willing to give me a chance here and just taking that opportunity.
Where would you have gone had the UCLA walk-on opportunity not come up?
To be completely honest, I probably either would have tried to go walk on somewhere else, but UCLA was one of the schools I knew I'd wanted to go to, so I might have ended up just going to UCLA and maybe not playing football if that hadn't come up.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that possibility, that maybe there's some other guys walking around the campus who could be the next Carson Schwesinger, right, if given the opportunity. You were given the opportunity. What were you promised when you came to UCLA? What did the coaches say in terms of what your role would be or what the opportunities might be?
I think there wasn't much, just kind of that I'd be on the team and there'd be opportunities. I think that is all I came into it hoping, was just at some point being given a chance. And since I've been here, always felt like part of the team, which is something that's been great about this program.
I always think that walk-ons kind of need to do something exceptional to get themselves noticed, whether it's in practice or the weight room or just manifesting some sort of leadership, whatever it might be, to get coaches to see them differently? Because I think there's a lot of predisposition when someone comes in and you're kind of labeled as a walk-on. What do you think that thing was? Was there something that you did that you feel like got you noticed and got the coaches to say, hey, maybe Carson can be more than we anticipated?
I think it's not just, one thing here or there. I think even with any player on the team, what gets you noticed is being able to go in day in and day out and be the same type of guy. Try and work as hard as you can, be one of the hardest workers out there, and it's more being able to do things like that every day versus one thing here, one thing there. That's really going to propel you forward.
So the one thing was that you were good. Do you remember the moment where Chip Kelly announced that you were on scholarship? Tell us about that moment.
Yeah, so that moment ended up being my second fall camp. So I'd been there for about a year, and had a pretty good fall camp. And he had brought it was me and 5 other guys up to the front in front of the team on the field after a walkthrough at night, and he basically said, these guys all have scholarships, and then the team starts going crazy. For me, it was a little surreal. Kind of don't remember too much because it happened pretty quickly, but definitely a great moment.
What was that phone call home like?
Oh, it was great. I remember I called both my parents. They weren't together at the they were just like, my dad was at my mom's or my little brother's practice, and my mom was still at home. So I called them separately, but both of their reactions were pretty cool to hear. Very, very surreal at the time. So yeah, it was a great moment for those phone calls too.
That's super cool. Kaika Malloy, who's the defensive coordinator, I thought had a great observation about you. He said, even now that you're having this great season and now that you're one of the best players in the Big Ten, that you still approach every day as if you're starting from ground zero, as if you have something to prove every single day. Where does that mentality come from? Is that something that's self-motivated? Is it something you learned from someone? Where did you become that person?
I think that's something that I've always had with me. I think it comes from just how I was raised with my parents. My dad always instilled in me that the one thing you're going to be able to control is how hard you work and how hard you play, and just kind of taking that throughout life. In any aspect of life is being able to work hard is what's going to end up making you successful.
Carson, I don't want to let you go without talking about academics, because you are a bioengineering major, which sounds very easy, first of all. I'm guessing that is the intersection of biology and engineering, though it's kind of above my head a little bit. But describe for people in layman's terms what kinds of problems a bioengineer approaches and tries to solve.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of, I enjoy it personally because it's got a really wide range of application. It could be anywhere from gene editing, which it may not be my forte, but there's also parts of, implantable technology in the body or wearable electronics and things like that I find interesting, and maybe in the future could end up even intersecting with sports at some point. So, yeah.
All right, that's pretty amazing stuff, and it is quite commendable to do that and to be a football player as well. You got a lot on your plate. What you got on your plate this week is a game against Washington tomorrow. This is a team that I certainly don't need to tell you can really throw it around. They have an excellent back in Jonah Coleman as well. What are the biggest challenges that the Huskies present for a defense?
Yeah, like you said, they're able to throw the ball. They're able to run the ball. They're able to come out and there's not just one single facet that they're good at. So obviously, as a defense coming in, you got to make sure to have everything handled, and then just being able to go out there and still execute what we want to do.
Well, looking forward to seeing that game coming up tomorrow night, and really appreciate your time. Really happy for you. This is a great story. This is the kind of story that I think makes college football so special. Congratulations on all your success, and we'll watch for you down the road. Thanks, Carson.
Thank you.